Hey guys, welcome back, and today I want to talk a little bit about my stand setup, what I utilize during the season to help me get closer to game, whether it's a lock-on stand or my saddle setup. Now, yes, I do hunt from the ground ever so often through a ground blind or from a ground blind, not really through one. Anyway, whatever, you get it. So, the most important thing that you can do is check your equipment out. It's paramount that you check your equipment out and you make sure that everything is working properly. Because the last thing you want to do, once again, like all my videos, you don't want to sacrifice your safety, because you do want to come back to home life. So whether it's your climbing sticks, your saddle, your platform, your tether, or your stand itself and cables, just take a once over. No matter whether you're a seasoned hunter and you hunt every single day of the season, that's when you really need to start paying attention, because you get a little bit complacent because you do it every day. So take that extra second before you head out and look at your equipment. First and foremost, I think the most important thing that we talk about, or at least is important to me, is how I get up the tree and then hang my stand or my platform. And that is my climbing sticks. Out there on every forum, no matter what it is, everybody's always asking, how do you get up the tree? What's your setup look like? Do you have an aider? Do you do a 1-stick method? Do you do 3 sticks? Yada, yada, yada. There's so many different ways you can get up a tree. Whether it is with climbing sticks, wee steps, or you do one of the SRTs or DRTs, double rope techniques or single rope techniques. There's so many different things that you can utilize. Myself, I personally use 3 sticks with an aider system on it. This is just what I'm comfortable with utilizing. And the stick itself, this is an API stick that I bought, a set of sticks I bought, I think it was like 3 years ago. And I was actually going to buy Lone Wolf sticks. Now we all know how expensive Lone Wolf equipment is, and it's, you pay for what you get. It's good stuff. But one thing I don't like about a lot of Lone Wolf stuff is not having. So I ran into Bass Pro Shops, found these API sticks, and they are actually about a foot longer, and they had 3 steps on them. So what I did was I took them down and chopped them down to where I have 22 inches from step to step. And then I replaced this eventually with a Lone Wolf Versa button. And then the standoffs, or the cleats, whatever you want to call them, these are Lone Wolves as well. The ones from API, they worked, but I decided to go ahead and change them out for these, because these things, they really bite. And the API ones, they had like 2 cleats or 2 teeth on them, and they slipped on me a couple times. Next thing I ended up doing, and let me see if I have something here. Next thing I ended up doing, and because you can see it on here, is I sprayed spray foam on the inside of these. Why did I do that? Doesn't make as much noise. It's a little bit more dead when something metal on metal hits. When metal on metal hits, it's a very distinct, it's alarming sound to animals. With that spray foam in there, wow, spray foam that I sprayed in there, it deadens the sound so it doesn't travel as far. Yes, it still makes noise, not as much. And then probably the biggest change I did, and I hate it when people say game changers, but it was really a game changer, was changing from the buckle straps, from the rope mod strap method to these Amsteel daisy chains. Now these are 88 inches long, and all the way down it has daisy chain loops. Now these loops, they just go right over your Versa button like that, and they do not slip. This stuff is, I can't remember what size this is, but it's I think it's rated around 1,500 pounds yeah, I think it's like 1,500 pounds. I don't know, I'm not an engineer, I'm not don't have the greatest smarts on me right now, but anyway. So it's pretty stout, and I used it all season last season, and one, it made me quieter, it made me quicker, and honestly, it was just easier to deal with. Oh, and it's lighter. It is, it made my sticks end up being 3 pounds a piece, which is, in my book, pretty light. Now, the last thing I did was I went from using a movable aider, and you use a movable aider by putting your stick on the tree and then going over your step onto your cleats, each step. Now I get up on my steps, I can pull this up and put it on the next step, and I can keep going, and I can stretch that stick out further. So it allows me to get up higher. If I just use 3 sticks, using 3 sticks with no aider, I'm probably gonna get about 12 to 15 feet, maybe. And that is jumping up from the bottom of that step and like really being a cat, having cat-like reflexes to get up there. So I moved into using this tubular nylon, and I took a piece of climbing rope, pretty much like your tree tether if you're a saddle hunter, and put it on the bottom of it to hold my stirrup open. And I put, it's almost a 20-inch, I think it's about a 20-inch aider on here. Now I can always change it up if I wanted to, but how I made it, I'm gonna show you real quick, is what I did was I stepped on it and I did kneecap to foot, because when you put your foot on here, it's kneecap to foot. So I essentially put 3 steps, and I think that can get me up around 18 to 20 feet up in a tree. It's very versatile, it's very easy to use, and for me, it's quick and easy. Once again, guys, as far as getting up a tree, there's so many different methods out there. You can utilize whatever you want. It's all up to you. It's, once again, like I said, shooter's choice. So now this is my platform. This is obviously the Predator platform. This is the Gen 2 model from Tethered. And I tell you what, this, once again, was an absolute game changer in itself. Once you put this up on the tree and you stand on it, you can lean out. It's, I mean, it's lightweight and it's compact. I can put this in any pack I want, or I can strap it just straight to my sticks, and it's gonna be out of the way as I'm climbing through the wood, or crawling or walking through the woods. So that is pretty much, well, in a nutshell, that is what I will be mainly using this year when I go to Oklahoma or Missouri. Now down here in Texas, I'm gonna be doing a lot of ground hunting because the trees are not, well, as straight up and down or as easy to get into with a tree saddle. There are trees that I can use, and if I can use them, I will use a tree saddle. Going straight into my tree saddle itself. Last year, I started out using a sit drag system, and a sit drag is an easy and effective way to get into saddle hunting. All you have to do is have a tethered lineman's rope, get on Google, look up sit drag, and you'll come out with something like this. This is the sit drag right here. And then get you some tubular nylon, tie some water knots on there so you can have a bridge. This is my bridge. Now I've adjusted it to where I have a belt that I can wear it in with my my climbing harness. That's the only other thing you need to do, and spend some good money on a climbing harness. That way you're safe going up and down the tree and then hanging out in it. Very cost effective, and it's It's actually really comfortable. To me, I enjoy it. That is always in my gear when I'm gonna travel, because one is none and two is one. So I have my saddle, and then I'll carry a rock climbing harness with the sit drag as well. So moving on. Later on in the season, I ended up buying this Arrow Hunter Wild Edge, or Wild Edge by Arrow Hunter. They combined and made the Yarick. Now, if you're a saddle hunter, a lot of guys out there, they're like, man, this is the great white buffalo. You can't ever find it. It's a unicorn. I ran across it last year on a saddle hunter forum, and I used it all season. If you get into saddle hunting, you can spend all types of money. I'm not affiliated with anything. This is what JR does on a daily basis, what I like to use. So I have a Yarick. I have a tethered platform. So Arrow Hunter, Wild Edge, tethered platform, API, XOP stand, which I'll show you in a minute. It's just a bunch of, if you want to get into saddle hunting, there's a bunch of different rigs out there. This is just what I have. You have the tethered Phantoms Manus, you have the Yarick, you have Arrow Hunter Flex, and there's several different ones from Arrow Hunter. They're great. And then Trophy line, and really and truly, check out H2 as well. I've heard good things about them. One of my buddies has one of those, and they're a little bit cheaper on size 2. It's an extra large. So I have my carry rope here. It's strapped onto the side, and sometimes I put it inside my pouch here. Inside my pouch, and I have everything in it pretty much in precedence of how I use it. So I have my lineman's belt or rope. I get up at hunting height, my tree tether. And then once I'm on my platform and everything is said and done, I have this strap here. Now this is an old go around the tree strap that I got from Summit, off of a Summit climber. And then this is one of those hero clips. This is what I hang my bow off of. It's got duct tape on it. I end up putting duct tape on everything, trying to silence whatever I can whenever I can. So once I get up, get everything up in the tree, that's when I hang my stuff on. And then if I need to, I've got a bag. I can put more clips on there and hang everything else up with that as well. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell as far as saddle hunting. Now, lock-ons. Saddle hunting is great. It's a tool that you can put in your toolbox, in your kit, when you go hunting anywhere. But I like to be prepared. So when I go to Missouri, Oklahoma, anywheres in Texas, I'm going to take my saddle, and I'm going to take my lock-on. Now there are tons of lock-ons out there, and I chose to get this one because of the price. The price point on it, I got it from Optic Planet 3 years ago. My buddy up in Missouri had one. I hunted with it while he was using his saddle, because all I had was a climber, and we was getting in some trees that I couldn't use. So downfall with a climber, can't get in a branched out tree. So I used his, and shortly thereafter, I ended up purchasing one offline, and it got to me within 2 or 3 days, and I was able to utilize it for the rest of the season. These XOP platforms or tree stands, this is the Vanish, and it has an actual buckle system, so you can use it as like any other tree stand, where you have these straps on here, and they go around to like the Versa button, and they loop in, and you cinch them down, cam it over, cinch it down. And then, but I ended up buying the quick bracket, so I can put it on the tree, and it's got 3 different slots. I can slide it down, and if I want to, I can get a couple more of these, put them up in different sets, and hang it that way, and take just one stand with me, and take my stand in and out of the woods. Especially hunting public land, it could be very easy if you've got some sets that you want to have out all the time, but you don't want a stand out there because people steal stuff off of public land. You could go with this route with one of these tree brackets for whatever system you have, whatever platform you have, and utilize one stand for 3 or 4 sets, how many of these brackets you want to buy. The only thing I don't like about it is it makes some noise. So just have to be careful when you get up in the tree and you start sliding your stand down on there. But it actually is very quick, because once you get this plate on there, all you got to do is slide your stand down on there and make sure that it's hanging straight for you. It has 2 other straps with it. It's very versatile as well. You can get into pretty much whatever tree you want to. You can be a foot off the ground all the way up to, I don't know, however far you can climb with your sticks and you're comfortable with. So just make sure that you check out all the nuts and bolts on these, and you should be good. This is what I use. Like I said, it is a Vanish by XRP. This one is not sold or not made in the USA. This is made in China. Okay guys, I get it, but I paid for it. It's mine. This is what I'm using. Use whatever you got to. If you got to go out to the Walmart and buy a $40 or $50 wild game, big game, whatever it is, gorilla stand, do so and make the best out of it. Just stay safe with it. That's all I'm asking. Now, I know that was a lot of rambling, but this is what I utilize during the season. I enjoy getting up in a tree, but I do hunt from the ground. There's nothing like being eye level with the game that you're hunting. And actually, when you are hunting, this is a little tip. When you're hunting an area, like I was hunting in North Carolina, got distracted. There were several times that deer would walk out and look straight up in the air, and you would get busted like that. And you could set on the ground and get by with a little bit more movement. Sounds crazy, but it definitely happened. Deer were getting conditioned by people being in the trees. They would come through and the people would get busted because they're moving around, not waiting for the proper time for them to draw, get their gun out, or whatever the case may be. Now the deer are educated. They're not coming down through there. They see somebody hanging off of the tree. They know what's going on. The gig is up. With that being said, guys, one last thing. If you don't want to carry a stool in with everything, you don't want to just sit on the ground, turkey season. Put this on the bottom of a tree. You have a little platform. Now you can set your little buns right there, and you're up off the ground. You're not getting as many ticks and chiggers on you. Do the same thing during deer season. Pile some brush up against you. And now you have your own makeshift, homemade ground blind. I couldn't think of the name. But that is pretty much it. That's what I carry into the woods with me. My rangefinder, my release, my bow and arrows, and then I'll have a grunt tube at all times with me. I hardly ever carry any rattling horns with me, just because they're big and bulky. Over the last couple of years, I hunted an area that you could slap a set of antlers together and the deer would go running, because everybody in the woods come that last week of October was smacking the antlers together and trying to get them in. Some people might have got it, had some luck with it. I just never did. That's neither here or there. Once again, guys, I'm rambling, and I hope this gives you a little bit of insight, the stuff that I use. Look for a saddle setup video in the future, as well as a video on setting up a lock-on. Safety first, guys. Always, always. It's paramount. And just remember, get outdoors, guys. Thank y'all for watching.